Canada breaking away from the US, Europe becoming the new partner. In 2025, trade between Canada and the EU has surged by over 50% in just 6 years, while trade relations with the US have hit rock bottom for the first time in decades. Canada's Prime Minister has not chosen Washington as his first official visit. Instead, he went straight to Europe. Is this the moment Canada finally steps away from America's influence? Trade war. The US slaps Canada with tariffs. Once one of the strongest trade relationships in the world, Canada and the US are now locked in a trade war, and it all started with Washington's aggressive tariff policies in 2025. February 1st, 2025. The US imposed a 25% tariff on most Canadian imports. March 11th, 2025. The US doubled tariffs on Canadian steel and aluminum to a staggering 50%, sending shockwaves through global metal markets. For Canada, it was an economic nightmare. But Ottawa wasn't about to sit idly by. March 12th, 2025, Canada strikes back, announcing a 25% retaliatory tariff on $21 billion worth of American goods. And this time, it wasn't just symbolic. Canada hit back where it hurts, targeting steel and aluminum, crippling US exports, consumer goods, from processed foods to household items. High-tech products, a massive industry between the two nations. For the first time in modern history, Canada is showing that it no longer relies on the US for economic survival. And this is where things get even more interesting. Europe, Canada's new strategic partner. In a shocking move, Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney skipped Washington altogether in his first official trip and went straight to France and the UK. Why? The CETA trade deal, Canada-EU trade agreement, has boosted Canada-EU trade by over 50% since 2017. The EU is now Canada's third largest trade partner, only behind the US and China. Canadian exports to the EU have soared 46.4% since 2016, giving Canada more options than ever before. Mark Carney himself made it crystal clear. Canada is the most European nation outside of Europe, and it's not just about trade. Canada's pivot to Europe is also about military power. Canada joins Europe's military alliance. A shift in global power? Canada isn't just looking to Europe for economic strength. It's also making big moves in the military sphere. Some major developments. Canada joins the EU's PESCO military project, allowing faster troop movements across Europe. Canada leads NATO forces in Latvia, solidifying its role in defending Europe from external threats. Canada expands intelligence sharing with the UK, boosting cybersecurity and economic warfare defenses. For the first time ever, a non-EU nation is participating in PESCO, proving that Canada is now an essential player in European security. The message is clear. Canada is no longer looking only to the US for global leadership. The US reacts, but is it losing control? The White House is not happy, and Washington is pulling every trick in the book to pull Canada back. The US has threatened higher auto tariffs, targeting one of Canada's biggest exports. Major US corporations have been pressured to reduce business with Canada in a move to apply economic leverage. But here's the problem for Washington. Canadians are done with America's tactics. A February 2025 Abacus data poll reveals 68% of Canadians view the EU more favorably than the US. 44% believe Canada should even consider joining the EU, something unthinkable a decade ago. For decades, Canada was America's closest ally. But now, the numbers don't lie. Canadians are looking for a new future. Final question: will America keep Canada or lose it forever? Canada's shift toward Europe is not just about economics, it's a geopolitical earthquake. The US is rapidly losing its grip over a nation it once considered an unshakable ally. So the real question is, can Washington turn the tide? Or is Canada already gone? The next moves from Washington and Ottawa will determine the future of North America. And trust me, you won't want to miss what happens next.